Yeah, okay. Good evening, guys. I'm happy to be here again. We'll be talking about grids and icon design for today. I noticed that you guys have been talking a lot about product designs, and there's no way you talk about product designs without looking into grids and icon designs. So, just a couple of definitions for grids. This definition is basically for grids in design. You understand what they mean for designers? So they are invisible guides that help us align elements, you understand, our designs so they look orderly and visually harmonious. It's quite easy. Even this particular presentation actually has a little bit of grid designs in it. That's why everything's aligned on the left. So that's what grid does. So the reason why we use it is basically to provide consistency and balance. To ensure, in icons, it's used to ensure all the icons look uniform across all platforms, and it makes everything scalable and resizable easily. Um, so you're talking about grids now, talking about creating the grids. So when it comes to creating a grid, a full grid that we use to design icons, come in since we basically create icons in different sizes. So they come in different sizes. We have the 8 pixel one, the 16 pixel one, and 24 pixel one. But we are currently focusing on the 24 pixel one right here on this call. So for the 24 pixel one, it basically comprises of a a circle, two rectangles, and like a square, which all have their own sizes and dimensions written right here. So they basically form the grid shape, the shapes that are to. Sorry, give me a minute. I'm trying to minimize this. So they form the shape that is from the grid on this right hand side. So the full canvas is usually 24 by 24 pixel. So also, I'll be showing you how to create a grid while we're on this call. But after the call, I'll be sharing these documents in the group. Here, the link to a video that shows how to create the grid is embedded into here as a link. So once the PDF file has been shared, you'll definitely be able to watch the video over and over again. But as of right now, I would like to show you how to create the grid in Illustrator, because that's what I basically use. So I will just leave this screen and move to Illustrator. So we'll definitely this is already done, but we'll start from scratch. So to start from scratch, we'll create a new document, which is I'll be using shortcut for Control N. So now this is where it's very important. The dimension for your Canva or your artboard must be 24 by 24 pixel, because that is what we are working with, the 24 by 24 pixel size. So the width should be 24, while the height should also be 24. So that's the right size to create it. Do not make mistake to create above that size or below that size. That's usually the best one. So the next thing is to get the base rectangle, which you'll be using for your guides or the grids. So the one thing is you draw a rectangle, sorry, a square in this shape. So easy, you click the rectangular tool. Once you click on it once, it will bring parameters for the for the rectangles you want to create. So since it's 24 by 24 already, so I just click OK. Now clicking this OK, you have, as you can see, it is in white fill and the stroke is very, very big. So one thing you have to do is you remove the fill, then you make the stroke 0.1. Something. You make this 0.1 for the stroke instead of 1, because it's working in small units. So now, as you can see, it's in outline like a stroke. Then you align it properly. So currently it's been aligned across so let me check. Is it 0.1? Yes. Let me put off the scale. So the next thing for you to do is you basically use this to you divide this into multiple squares. You divide it 24 by 24 squares. So how to do that is basically you go to objects, you go to parts, then you go to split into grids. You're about to split into grids. So you choose 24 by 24. Let's see, this should be 24. Yeah, 24. So what's it's going to do is going to divide it into 24 by 20. 24 squares row wise, 24 squares column wise. So all you have to do is just select all the squares, then go to view, guides, then you basically choose view, guides, then make guides. By doing that, you already have your base grid. The one thing you can do is you should lock this so you don't accidentally click on it. So you have to lock it in your layers. Uh, you select it all, group it, then lock it because it's individual rectangles. So it's not selecting. I have to select it over here. For example, let me go back a bit. Yes, okay. Let me make it grid again. I'm sorry, just a minute. View, make grids, make guides. Uh, yeah, hold on. Yes, should have selected, but doesn't worry. The next thing is you're supposed to create some squares that should give you the shapes where you could basically design your icons. Those are those squares that you have to follow for whenever an icon is it's supposed to be tall, fat, or in perfect square shape. So what you do is create other shapes for guides. So the first one is this one is going to be the perfect square. The dimension, which was already showed in the document, should be 18 by 18 pixel. This is going to be placed aligned in the center of the shape. Anything outside it will definitely be like a boundary. Then the next rectangle you're going to create is you're going to create one that works in a portrait view. So the dimension for that one is slightly different. It will be slimmer and taller. So for the width, it will be slimmer, so it will be 16. You remove 2 pixels, and for the height, you add those 2 pixels which you removed. That's 20. So you align this to the center as well. Then you make the one for the landscape view. So to do that, all you have to do is just same method, uh, shape tool. This time around, you interchange the dimensions. This would be fatter, so it will be 20, while this would be shorter, which would be 16. So by doing this, then the last thing you need to get is a perfect circle for when you have icons that are in circular format. So basically you choose the circle tool, then you click on it. The dimensions for the circle is 20 by 20. So once you choose that, you would align that as well. And with this, you have a perfect grading system where you'll be basically able to design any icons in it. So, like I said, in the document that was shared, link to how you can create this would also be the video for it. But this is how to practically create this um, by yourself on Illustrator. The next thing you're basically going to do is before you start designing any icons on this, first thing is basically you need to make the opacity of this lower. So you group it together and you reduce the opacity so it doesn't clash with whatever you are hoping to design. So that is all on creating grids. You can do this, you'll be able to do this in your sleep by the time you do it maybe once or twice. So let's go back to the document. So like I said, these are the shapes that form this grid. So those were basically the dimensions that was used to create the 24 by 24 pixel. Okay. So the next thing is let's talk about icons. So icons this is the simple definition of it. Icons are basically universal visual symbols that enable users to quickly understand and interact with softwares, websites, and other digital platforms. Basically, their icons are there for you to easily recognize what a particular function or what a particular button or what this particular section of any product is all about. once you see the icons on these, a lot of them pass the direct messages to you even before you see whatever name that is involved with it. So some of the principles in creating an icons is the icon needs to be simple, so people can easily understand what you mean. The icon needs to be very clear, like I said, so people it's recognizable for you understand people. The simplicity is also for because it's going to be in small sizes, so it's more visible even when in small sizes. Then consistency it means that the icons must have the same stroke width, the same corners, the same corner dimensions, the same style, so as to create a family of icons, because it's very wrong if your icons are not consistent. The app, it feels like as if they are not performing the same functions, they are not of the same, it's not of the same platform. So these are basically some of the principles you have to look at when you create an icon. So it's basically just a little bit of this designing an icon. Now, for today, we'll definitely just be looking at flat versions of the icons. There are also different styles of the other icons, which we'll be looking at in our next class. But today, we are looking at the flat versions of the icons. So basically, we'll be designing an icon on the grid which we created by ourselves. We're using the stroke width of 1.5 pixels. Now, here is a list of, if you need inspirations, or you need baselines or you need fast free icons, the generic ones. These are a list of free websites where you can get them. It is also to be in the document just for you to see. But let's try and design this using the grid we created by ourselves. This is a ramen noodle cup. And normally, I'm definitely sure you can understand it when you see something like this. You know it's noodles. So it's very straightforward. It does what an icon is supposed to do, and it was created within the dimensions of the grid which we have. So let's try and recreate it using the grid we created by ourselves. So the first thing you notice if you remember the ramen cup. Oh yes, before we go on. Now, since this artboard was created in 24 by 24 pixel, if you were to create any shape, let's say a shape, and you needed it to move just by 1 pixel, it's going to move way too much. I think I already have it in. Okay, it is 1 pixel. It's going to move way too much. Do you understand? So whenever you want to create icons, the first thing you do is the movement space where when you press your icons to move the whatever shape you create, you need to reduce the pixels that it moves. Since you are basically working with 0.1 pixels for the lines, you should also work for 0.1 pixels for movement as well. So the one thing is you must go to your settings and change the movement. Now, the fastest way to go there is basically just click on Control K. Control K. So when you click on Control K, it brings you see. So keyboard increments, as you can see, it is 1 pixel. So you must change this to 0.1. So if you change 0, as you can see the difference. So as see, this is the difference. But if it was at 1, let me see if it was at 1. Yeah. Wow. The difference is not that much. I don't know what's happening to my pixel, but let's leave that. Let me change it back to 0.1 just to avoid mistakes. 0.1 pixel. So leaving that. So now we want to create the ramen icon. So I'm zooming in. So to create it, the bowl, I think we will have to start with circle first. So you draw, whenever you want to do a circular shape, usually this is why this guide is there. So you basically make sure it follows the guide of this circle here. So I think this is the best way. You would shift, then drag the circle to match the So as it has matched, the next thing to do is, we are working with 1.5 stroke width. So you change it to 1.5 stroke width. Then, since you don't want it out of the boundaries of the circle, you change the stroke from center to inside. So you basically have a circle. Now you know that a bowl is like a half circle, like a semicircle. So all you have to do is just delete one point away from the full circle, then you have your half circle. So delete a point, or you basically just use, you need your pen tool. So you either go to the pen tool option or you click on P. Then you move, when you move towards the point where you want to delete, you see a minus that shows up. As you can see, there should be minus here. So once you click it, it deletes that point. The next thing is job, but you can definitely, if you click on the side, you will still see the reason why it's curved is because it still has the handles, the basic handles. So all you have to hold down Alt, then drag it so it's linear. Yeah, then do the same for the other side. So hold Alt and the handles, this handle, drag it. Now you have a semicircle, which basically can also function as a bowl. Now you can leave this as your bowl, or you could have the bottom leg of the bowl that sits on the floor. You could add that to it. So if you wanted to add that to this particular icon, all you have to do is just, it will be created with a rectangle. We always use shapes to create a lot of things by icon. So all you just have to do is create a rectangle. As you can see, I'm making sure that the rectangle does not pass the bottom guide, which was created using the rectangle, which was created using guides. So I would center line this. Now this is basically too slim for a leg handle, so we'll widen it. Okay, this is, let's go perfectly. That is enough. Now you know that it's the leg handle, so definitely the bowl itself, the bottom bowl won't be touching the floor. So you move it up a bit and 1 pixel. Now all you just have to do is join these two shapes, which you can do with a shape builder tool, or yes, a shape builder tool. So shape builder tool. So all you have to do is just join. Now I think I select something wrong. This and this. Okay. So you have to do this. Join these two, and you already have a bowl. This is your bowl, quite easy. All you just need now is the noodles and chopsticks, and these are easily done with simple lines. We can just have maybe 3 lines for the
Hey, can you hear me?
bowls. Let's see. Yeah, I
Matthew,
can hear you.
sorry, please, I have a question, and I think that
Yes.
in other people's minds.
Okay.
Now, shall I wait for it to be done?
No, 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 no. Please ask the question now.
Okay, so my question is, now that we're looking at, for instance, icon design, I want to believe that the reason why you
Yes.
do this is because maybe you have done it before, one, or maybe you have some form of like visual
Yes.
reference you are following. I don't know wherever it's coming from. But like, how do you advise that
Yes.
get started? Looking at the fact that, for instance, some of us may have not done it before. That's one. Is there like, are we supposed to maybe
Okay.
like, if you want to create an icon, should we find like a similar icon and then they will do illustrations whereby you overlap? We will learn illustrations by overlapping, you get illustrations and tracing them. Does that also work with icons?
Okay.
Or must we have like a visual whatever? Like how do you develop that visual image? Do we need to find something that looks like it? Or like I don't even get my question.
Yes, yes, I get your question. Now, to give an answer to that, yes, you definitely need to find the reason why I'm able to do this. It's because I have created it before this, before this class. So for you that is just starting out, you want to create an icon. That is why I give a list of websites here in the document. The best thing for you to do is check out these websites. If you were looking to create maybe a noodle, a noodle cup, or you make it maybe human, maybe a bag icon, whatever icons you are trying to create, you understand. The first thing I will tell you to do is check out these websites, see how they did that, you understand. Then you can definitely, create yours from it. Now, the reason why because we'll still get back to the reason why I would say don't just use this website, because there are situations where you would need a customized one. So this is still just talking about the general one. Sure, you understand. For a general one, I'm showing you how to create it. This website could definitely save you time for creating it, for creating something as simple as and something as general, let's say general as this, because this feels more like a general cup of noodles. But you need to know, how it was created. So if you were to, you wanted to create your own icons, you must have a visual reference. Now, those visual reference can come in form of icon websites. They can come in form of Pinterest, but you need a visual reference. They can come in form of your sketch. Sure, you understand.
Yes, I do. Thank you very much.
So it can come in form of a sketch as well. So that's where you get started from. So this is a visual reference. After this class, you can also, try and repeat, try and first try create this noodles cup, you understand, just to see whether you'll be able to, get it right on those grids to know where you're at. So let me quickly continue and finish this. So, so the one thing is we want to create the noodles. So noodles are basically, like I said, they're just a couple of lines, straight lines, and distance. This is one. I think I need to zoom in. Okay, this one. So all I have to just do is I'll duplicate this 3 times, and we'll have like our noodles. Um, so that's Control C, Control F. I need more space. So Control F. So we have our 3 noodles, and all we need now is just a chopstick. Chopstick is basically also a line. So that's a singular line passing through, also from here. And as you can see, they are not passing the grid lines which we created. So it must always stay within the lines we created for as boundaries. The next thing is just to get your second chopstick, just duplicate this as well. So normally you can leave it as this. This is also a form of chopstick, but for to make it even better, um, you could also bend it. Also bend it. Let's see, tilt it a bit. So if you would be, what's this? Okay, that's wrong. Uh, let's zoom. Okay. So if you treat it a bit, let's see. So let's say I tilted it a bit. Then that basically means that I would bring down the single chopstick a bit so as to have visual hierarchy. So once I'm done with that, I just make the noodles stay on the height of the chopstick. And that is all. We basically have a chopstick that works fine. So this is all. But one thing I think I noticed is during the process of creating the grid, I think I missed a single step. The reason why I'm saying so is I think if you want to select all this, you definitely have. I think when you want to select some points, have issues selecting points because I don't think okay. Oh yeah, I think I understand where the issues came from. I you must lock the shapes you used for I forgot to lock it. Shape used as a guide, so it must be locked before you start creating icons. So this is basically, let's say, an easy way of creating Induce icon. Uh, I would like to create one more icon, one that I would say I had not seen before. I don't know which icon would you think is easy and I should just create here. And let's see if we can work on it together. Right here on the call. Why, Aisha, do you have any suggestion? Which icon would you like us to create for our Discord?
Mm, maybe a
Hello,
card,
can you guys
probably
hear me?
like
Okay.
a playing card, like all this what?
A
But
card.
that seems yes, but
Okay.
that seems complicated. I don't know.
No, I think we can do a easy one. When you say words, there are two types of words. There are words that um have diamonds, circles, and shape. I've forgotten how they look like, but firstly, we'll first start with the card's outer shape, which is, just a rectangle that is like in a portrait way. And like I said, since this has passed the rectangles we use for guides, it has passed their boundaries. We need to make the stroke to be inside, not centered. So stroke inside. Now, the next thing for us is basically to think of I can't remember how a word looks like. Um, I don't remember how a word looks like, but I do know, I think, how does the circle or should we do, I think diamonds, I think the diamond ones, I don't know how the diamonds one look like, but I think they are like this. Then, okay, rotate it by 45 degree. Then take it some, let's say something like this. Same. I think this is how then you duplicate it. I think this is how the diamond one looks like. I can't really remember, but like I said, you need the visual reference. So do you mind me,
Yes,
checking for visual reference?
yes, no problem.
Okay. Okay. So let's see. What? Let's see. No, diamond. What card? Okay. Okay. Let's see. I think someone else. So this is how it looks like. We are basically even done with it. So a diamond, I think A has this and this has three diamonds. So if we are to, follow this or follow one of these, it just basically means that we just needed maybe like two. Let me centralize this and three with this. Then this centralized and this thrown away. This is basically a card. It's basically a diamond card. If we wanted to do, let's see, I think we have I saw other symbols for cards. If you wanted to do, we have diamonds, we have, let's see, love and speed. So if you wanted to do love and speed, so this is how we do love and speed. Sorry, I'll delete this. So for love and speed, to do love easily, all you need is just two rectangles. They might look weird. So one rectangle, I think the rectangle like this, then the other one the other way. Yeah, the other one the other way. So let me rotate the other one by 90. Let's see. I think there is one. So I think this is it. So we have touched this end of it, then this end of it. Then you have enough. All you have to do is just group them together. So, group this together, then you rotate. Yes, so I think I have to do it by 45 degree. So let's see, this has to be in fuel because it's love. So uh, yes, okay. Since I'm enlarging it, the curves are not going along with it, but I would redo the curves. So align it. Then the points, this point, this point, this point, and this point. So we basically have a love card. If we were to do speed, I think the speed, sorry, is this not speed here? I think the speed just has, our speed would be a little bit different, just to keep it simple. Or just add a simple, let's say rectangle here. Yes, and I think it's supposed to be upside down or something. So let's just select it with this group, then just flip it. And say we have our own, though it doesn't look like the real speed, but the difference is just we'll take time to customize and make this curve. If I didn't want to take time with that, I could just add a triangle to the base. Let's see. Let's add a triangle to the base. Let me change it to triangle and come down. And we'd see we have a speed. We have a speed. So that is that on that. That's that on basically using grids and icons to create a flat icon. Now, let me group this. So we do know that in flat icons, we have both stroke and fill. So these ones that are created, we are all stroke. So for something like this, it's when you've created the stroke version, it's always easy to get a fill version. So if I was to, create a fill version for this particular one, all you have to do is just fill in the places that are covered, you understand, but don't have any fills. What I mean by places that are like containers. Places that are containers is like, as you can see in this old shape, these are not containers. This is not a container, they are all just lines, but this is the only one that has like a container fill. So what you just have to do is just add a fill to this, and you automatically have the field version of the same icon which you just created very fast, very easily. If you were to apply that to this as well, all you have to do is just add a field to this and change the color of the, just all you have to do is basically just let me add a field to this outer one here. Just add a field to it, and the inner one, just change the color to white. And let's see. And then you have like the field version of the card icon itself. So any question on the flat icons? This particular one's both fill and stroke.
Okay, well, I have a question, but
Aisha, I didn't. Yeah.
a question.
Yes. Okay. Go ahead.
I've heard you have said that
Yes.
sometimes when you're like creating icons, you create them from like basic shape. Is it like any icon we want to create in this world, or using that basic shape? Is that the truth, or do we need like some other things or something like that? Like I mean, like creating the icons, like you say, it's just basic shape, like rectangle, like circles. That's basically what we have used. Are you saying that this is what obtains in like most of the scenarios? That is just basic shapes.
I would say yes for the basic icons. There are some detailed, though I don't know, generally a lot of platforms and apps do not use those detailed ones because it can be confusing. So for the basic icons, what you definitely always need are shapes and a couple of times just lines. They will say lines, like for the noodle one now, I have to draw a couple of single lines to make some things, I don't know whether the lines fall under the category of shapes. You understand? So there are some occasions where you use lines, but maybe I would say 80 to 90% of the time, every icon you create is gotten from singular shape. As you can see, I just created a love from just two rectangles. On a normal day, some people would have to think of maybe drawing multiple circles, using pencil to make the curve or something like that. But it was just two rectangles that were rotated in the right angles. But about the shape of the love. So it happens. The shape of diamond too is just a square that was rotated into the right angle to give that shape of a diamond. So most times it's usually always the small shapes that make the big things. Let's just see that. So the next thing, let's look at the slide. So the next thing on it is so like I said, we have a list of websites which you can check later, and they have a couple of icons. The reason for these websites will definitely be shown shortly. It is for when you have a brand that has a certain look and they did not or they do not want the generic style of icons. So the fastest way is for you to get the base icon from some of these websites, then customize it to fit the brand itself. Points being taken is this is basically an example of what I was talking about. So recently, I was tasked with creating a rebrand for a company. You understand? So I basically removed that, but this was basically the icon that they went with. This is currently what the company is using. You understand? So I got this their logo. So now after creating their logo, they needed a set of icons that they wanted to use for some of their platforms for some things you actually understand. So and they didn't want it to be the general generic icons, though they were basically supposed to communicate some things, but you don't want it to be the general one. So because of that, we had to create some form of uniqueness to it. As you notice this you already know what this is. You understand? That's the way it's phone calls. On a normal day, all you will see is just the phone. So we had to like, okay, how do you customize this? We incorporated something from the logo. I took the stars from the logos and was incorporated into a lot of icons. So you understand. Now the process of doing such a thing is basically this. This is the reason for the list of websites that was given in the previous slide. It is for you to go to those websites, take a base website, then customize it to fit whatever whatever questions or whatever categories you need it for. Let me give you an example. So this was basically what we ended up using for profile. You understand when you want to say, okay, your profile, we know that this basically looks like a normal profile icon, but we have to customize it. Now, this was how the process, went. Was the first thing was I decided to choose one of those websites to get the base to make the workflow faster, to get a base icon on what to do. So this is me. Just let me go to one of those websites. So yeah, this is me going to one of the websites. Now there I basically just typed in profile. So after choosing profile, I looked around and I chose one that felt like what I need, which I think this was what was chosen. So this was chosen. All you have to do is just click on copy. It will give you an SVG format to copy. Once you've copied it, just copy and paste it in the already made guide in Illustrator. So copy and paste. It was done quite easily, as you can see. So all I did was, since we already know that you have a guide, that anything circular must always only stick within this. So all I did was I centralized it firstly. So just know how to, scale it up. After centralizing, then the next thing was to scale it up. Let's see. Why don't you want to scale up peacefully? Scale, So now it's scaled up. Now the next thing is to check since I said I want it customized to what I need, and we are working with 1.5 pixel, I will definitely first check the current stroke, which is 1. So I will change it to 1.5. Then I would, since I don't want it to pass the boundary, I will switch to inner and see how it looks. As you can see, this is how it currently looks. Now the next thing to do is to make those corrections, those edits to make it fit your brand. You understand? Now looking at thank God I have the file opened. Looking at their logo, let me see. Okay, I have their logo here. Looking at their logo right here, I looked at it and I was like, what can be used? What can be taken from this? So I was okay, let's take the logo to the grid file, which is let's see, Control F grid file. Let's reduce it to 30. Then let's bring it in so we can see it closely. So I'm going to put it to one side. So when I need something from it, I'll pick it up. So the first thing is to first match the style of the icons. As you can see, this particular icon, this particular circle is rounded. The edges are rounded, which shouldn't be. So the first thing to do is make sure that you remove any rounded corners. So what you're going to do is go to one of the functions. Now it's now sharp. So the next thing to get the icon to the way I wanted was, as you can see, we have something that feels like a half circle, and we have a star. So turning this to like an half circle was also part of the plan then. So let's let me reduce this because which want to pass the boundary. And then so I will add points that I can delete, because without points that I can delete, it would be very difficult to get what I want. So by having that, so I'll delete the points here. What's the first? Oh, sorry. I think I need one more point around here. Mhm. So I delete this point, then I get another point around here. I delete this. I think which line? Straight line. Yeah, I think it's the same straight line. So now we already have a half circle that basically mimics this shape in an icon that we got the way we got it from online, which was a full circle. So with this already, you're on your way to customizing the way it looks. So the next thing there is basically to match these curves to this. So the way to match it is all you have to do is just delete more points, then join the remaining points together. So since it's this way, all you have to do is just delete the points around here, add the new points here, add the new points around here, and delete the unnecessary ones. Delete here, delete here. The points are still not together, so you need the point that is closer. Let's see if you can pick the one here. Pick the one here. Let's delete this. Delete this point. Delete this point. And we need to join these 2 points together. Yeah, sorry. Yes, so this point, this point. And I think let me bring this one down. No, sorry. So it's too much. I just need a little bit. Uh, the guys are always snapping mean, okay. Mm, so I just need to join this. I'll make those corrections. So this point, and I think I don't need this extra point. So with that, I'll just adjust the curves on this end and the one here. Then, like I said, it still has curved edges, so remove all curved. So we are already on our way to having a customized icon. Firstly, it was the normal closed icon, but now we already have something that looks extremely different based on the fact that we needed a customized version of icon. So the next thing I did then was to find a way to incorporate the stars. Now, so I will just take in that particular shape of the star. I'll just give it the universal color, which is black. So there are a lot of ways to incorporate this. This is a lot of them. Why is it still not shrinking? Wow. I don't know why. Oh, this is the first time I'm seeing. Oh, okay. I think I understand why it's not shrinking. It's based on the curves around it. So to make it shrink, you will need to shrink by proportion, scale corners and strokes. So to shrink a star, yes. Mm. So there are different ways to incorporate these. You could basically just put it at one side here. You could put it, you could make it double, you could double it. There are different ways to utilize its uniqueness. You could do that. And I think the what I did was I took it into the head, and this was how I got the one of the icons, the profile icons that was created here. So I did the same thing for every other icons there. I looked for an existing icon. I made a little bit of edits and it became a customized version of it. So whenever you have a situation where you need a customized version of an icon, where and customizing is not always easy if you start from scratch. So the best is always go to one of those websites, get a base icon where you further make your edits on. So that is all for me from today. Do you guys have any question?